Hey everyone, I'm just going to do a little video on the trigonomic ratios and a right angle triangle. So first of all, let's just take a look at this triangle. I know that it's a right angle triangle because of this square here. This proves that it's 90 degrees, it shows that it's 90 degrees, and so I know it's a right angle triangle. So I have highlighted this pink part here, this angle, and I just want to talk about the sides in association with this angle here. So if we follow all the way across from that angle, we get the opposite side. Okay, and then if we look down here, we get the adjacent side. It's right beside that angle. Now this side up here is called the hypotenuse. Now the hypotenuse is always across from the right angle. It's the biggest side of the triangle because it's across from the biggest angle of the triangle. Okay, so the bigger angle, the bigger the side across from it. Something to keep in mind. Now, I have also drawn on the other side of this triangle. So I'm just going to switch it. And on this side of the triangle, I still have my right angle down here, but this time it's in pink. And then I have this angle up here that is in purple. Now, what I want to show you is that if I'm looking at this angle, if I go all the way across, now this side here becomes the opposite side, and right beside it becomes the adjacent side. So if we look closely, that says the opposite side, and we look closely, that says the adjacent side. Now, across from the right angle is still the hypotenuse. The hypotenuse doesn't change. So a little trick here, and you can do this at home if you want, is if you put your fingers on the hypotenuse side, when you switch it, it's still the hypotenuse. So if you look closely, hypotenuse there and hypotenuse there. So no matter which angle I'm looking at, whether I'm looking at this angle up here or I'm looking at this angle down here, the hypotenuse side doesn't change. If I look at this angle up here, this purple angle, and I'm looking down at the opposite side, when I look to the other side, it actually becomes the adjacent side because I'm looking at a different angle. So we just need to keep in mind that these opposite and adjacent sides change depending on if you're looking at this angle up here. This is the opposite. If we're looking at this angle down here, this becomes adjacent. If I'm looking at this angle up here, this is the adjacent. And if I'm looking at this angle down here, it is the opposite. So if you put your finger on and just switch it, you can see that the sides change depending on what angle you're looking at, adjacent and opposite sides. But if I put my fingers on the hypotenuse side actually doesn't change at all. Always stays the same. It's always across from that right angle because it's the biggest angle in the triangle, which is across from the biggest side of the triangle.